Yes, today, look, we've got stuff, news, things. Cue the intro.
Welcome to my channel, where cringy intros are cringy.
Alright, so the first thing we got to talk about is just the general things that are coming this week for Dragon Ball Legends. I'm going to put this all into one video, as you guys can see. I normally would do this in separate videos, but today I'm going to do things a little bit differently. We're going to rank them from 1 to 5 of least to most important of all these events as new players, intermediate, or advanced. If you're doing this under any pretense, I suggest doing them all. However, in case that you can't, we'll rank them from 1 to 5 and make it go from there. All right, so first things first, we got the Super Scout Battle. This is going to be the ability to obtain top tier extreme characters. Now, how top tier is debatable, although this guy, he's actually really good, so there is that. So let's take a look. We got 3 different stages to cover. We've got God Key, Saiyan, and powerful opponents. And just straight up from looking at this stuff, for God Key, you have, technically speaking, all 3 are useful. However, none of them are really useful for PvP, although you could argue the Whis is still decent. The other 2 are not that good, and they're only really serving any purpose. Well, actually, all of them serve a purpose in PvE, so there is that. In regards to Saiyans, you've got this lovely Super Saiyan 2 Goku. He's really good. He can be used in PvP, and he definitely can put in some work. This GT Goku, he's good for co-ops. He's good for PvE events. Not so good for PvP. And then finally, this yellow Bardock, he's a great bench. That's about it. That's all I can really say about him. And then we got powerful opponent. So we've got the EX Sin Shenron, we have the EX Hyper Metal Rildo, and we got the EX Android 13. And I can definitely say without a doubt that this is probably the most solid lineup I've seen out of them all. This guy, the Android 13, he's fantastic for, I think, green and red units. And he's a great bench even for PvP. You can even use him for PvP, like as an actual unit himself, although I don't recommend that as much. But his just general buffs that he gives are just fantastic. And then this Sin Shenron is actually pretty good. And this Hyper Metal Rildo is also pretty good and can be used in co-ops and in PvE. He can also be used in PvP, although at this point, I wouldn't recommend it. So overall, like, if you're new and you're not really sure where to go, I would definitely go for Powerful Opponent. It helps for multiple game modes more so than the other 2. Although I think I would probably line it up as Powerful Opponent, then Saiyan, then God Key. However, if you only care for a specific set, then do that. I'm just saying, if you're new, if you're uncertain, if you really just care about PvE stuff, content more so than anything else, I definitely suggest the Powerful Opponent section. Or actually, no. If it's PvE stuff, I think I would more so recommend the Saiyans section. But if you're looking for something for PvP or for PvE as well, then in that case, the Powerful Opponent section is definitely more up my alley in regards to that. So there you go. And then we will label where I think this would rate on a scale of 1 to 5 of importance. But let's go through the rest of the stuff first. So next up, we got the Chrono Crystal Capture, which is now on, even starting today. And basically what's going to happen is every day for 14 battles total, you'll get a certain amount of CC, up to 500. So it just goes up, and eventually hits 100. Not much else to say about it. It's good. I like it. It's free CC. Then we got the Extreme Clash Raid versus Legendary Super Saiyan Broly. There's not much to say about this other than the fact that it's a raid. So as a result, let's just look at what we're getting. So you're getting Z Power for sparking Legendary Super Saiyan Broly as a victory reward during this time when you're fighting. You can also collect those battle medals to get other rewards. So let's take a look what we got. We have concurrent missions, so win against the raid boss and complete missions, and then you'll get more of his Z power, you'll get erasers, and you'll get training bells, so that's good. We got some battle bonus characters. Obviously, these 3 were going to be part of this, but like they said, there are going to be more. But it's nice that these three are there, especially since this guy right here in the middle, everyone has now officially received by this point because, well, if you've been playing during the time of the event and the event is still on, you will have this guy, which means that you can definitely join in on this event and it should be pretty simple. And we got other things lined up here, although this Chrono Crystals, well, you can't really grab them if you have 20k CC or higher because the cap is at 20k. That sucks, but that's what it is. And we'll cover how important this one is in a bit. All right, next up we got the Sparking Limit Break banner. And so it seems like pretty much just before on every step up, like every step up's banner at this point, we're getting a new Sparking Limit Break. I think they're really trying to push Legends Limited characters to be what they once were, which was the meta, and not Zenkai's anymore. And, you know, I have mixed feelings about this. On one hand, this is a good thing. It means that for free-to-play players, rejoice, you'll be able to actually use your Legends Limited characters for once, and you'll actually be able to work on your team. On the other hand, by them doing this, they are basically saying that they do not like the current state of the game, which is where everyone technically can compete on equal footing. And I stand by that because Zenkai's closed the gap between whales and free-to-play players. There is no contest about that. You can argue all you want about how they're reselling you the same unit. And yes, they absolutely are. And do I agree with that method? No. But at the same time, I never want to go back to the days of second anniversary where it was Vegito Blue as a meta, and that was it. It was awful. It felt like you needed the Legends Limited character to play. And even if you didn't, it was a pain in the butt to deal with them. And it was the clearest point in time when Legends Limited characters were just dominant and dominating everything outside of, obviously, Zenkai Beerus. So, what I'm trying to say here is that was horrible, and I never want to go back to a period where Legends Limited whales, like people that use Legends Limiteds that are also whales, just dominate and there's no chance for victory. That was toxic, and Zenkai's fixed that barrier. But the fact that they're doing these Sparking Limit breaks, it does sound to me that you have now two options as a free-to-play player. You can either go for the long haul, which is to get your Legends Limited characters up, which might also be Zenkaiable as well. Or alternatively, you can just skip this altogether and just focus on Zenkai's. There are still some very powerful Zenkai's that are pretty much at the top of the game. However, that is obviously changing as hybrids. I hate you so much. Hybrids should just die in a fire. But that's just my personal opinion. No, I think the hybrid should just die in a fire. Anyways, so this is your step ups. It's the same as always. You get at step 7 your lovely multi-Z power Legends Limited 600. So there you go. These are some characters. Now, again, if you are pulling on this particular banner, the Limit Sparking Break, or Sparking Limit Break banners, you're not doing it because of the characters. You're doing it more so for the Legends Limited Z power as well as the extra multi-Z power. And that is really it. You're not actually doing it for anything else. Case in point, it's because the rates are horrible, and this is the bonus. I mean, these are the actual rewards, and any of these characters will just end up being a bonus. All right, so we covered that. Again, I will rate all of this at the end. And we got video and stuff 16. So basically, they're going to be talking about specifically the ongoing campaigns that are happening and some updates that are going to happen in the following months. And then, of course, they're also going to be discussing new info on characters. And it's most likely going to be a step-up banner due to the fact that this is coming out before, realistically, all of that happens. So this is coming out on the 13th, and this is coming out on the 12th. So yeah, so they're going to announce this stuff, then they're going to release this stuff. So we can expect sometime by next week, if not by the end of this week, something in regards to a step-up banner. Now, it might not come out by this week or next week, but it will definitely be announced, obviously, because they are covering it in a video. but I have this strangest feeling that it's either coming out. I think it's coming out next week. The Step Up banner. I would be surprised if they don't already have it lined up ready for us. So anyways, in regards to 1 to 5, in terms of importance, if you are a new player, this is probably the least important. This is at a 1, 5 being the most important, 1 being the least important. This is a 1. It is not very necessary to know about. And generally, you'll just see it in-game anyways, as in, like, just the units, and eventually what they talk about, it will show up in-game, so it's not very needed. It's not extremely important to talk about. This is where I have a toss-up between 2 and 3, so I'll explain. Sparking Limit Break and Super Scout Battle depends on who you are. If you're a new player still deciding on your team, then I strongly suggest that you're working on the Super Scout Battle first, and then you can decide if you want to pull in the Sparking Limit Break. At that point, this is the 2, and this is the 3. However, if you already know your teams and stuff, then in that case, Super Scout Battle at that point becomes 2, and Sparking Limit Break becomes that 3. It's much more important. And then, and you could actually argue this could even be a 4 or 5, depending on how you're feeling about the other stuff. If you're a new player, I would definitely recommend this as number 4. You really want to make sure you're doing this every single day. You don't want to miss out even on one time. And then finally, this would be number 5, no matter who you are, because farming all of these things, even if you can't farm for everything, it's still super important. You're going to want to farm for these multi-Z powers, both the extreme and sparking. The erasers are just super important. Getting as much as you can. Obviously, you probably will not be able to grab the Chrono Crystals if you're already at that CC cap at 20,000 Chrono Crystals, but everything else is just exponentially just as important, if not maybe sometimes even more important at times, meaning that you just generally don't want to miss out on this stuff. So if you are free to play, if you are not free to play, once again, the Extreme Clash Raid, Legendary Super Saiyan Broly, just the most important thing to cover. And then it's really just a toss-up between Chrono Crystal Capture and Sparking Limit Break. You could potentially put them on the same, but I still give it to the edge to the Chrono Crystal Capture because there's no downside, whereas this, the only downside to this is that you're obviously spending CC. That's really its only downside. And then this one, there's no actual downside. It's just that it's not as impressive as potentially pulling a unit that's good, but as well as being able to buff up your units too. So there's that. And then this information isn't exactly super important. It's relevant. It's nice to know, but it's not necessary. So there you have it. That is the Legends news. And yeah, that's pretty much it. But as you guys can see, just quick update about what's going on in my life. As you can see, no green screen because I am officially now in the intermittent apartment prior to moving into my new place. So expect more videos like this or videos with this setup for a bit. It's not going to last forever. So sometime in September or October, I'll be in my new house, and then I'll be able to move all my stuff there, in which my setup will kind of go back to normal. And then we'll just continue on as if nothing has ever changed. But till then, that's pretty much that. Without further ado, just, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. Tell me if you're excited. Tell me if you're not excited. And click that red button that's like on your screen. I promise you that if you click it, you will have clicked the button. It has white letters inside of it. It's interesting. You should definitely click that. Also, if you see that thumbs up thingy, you should click that too. Make it turn blue. I know people love to see it turn blue. And if you want to do it the other way around, you can totally do that too. I mean, that works. Hey, that rhymed. Anyways, guys, stay salty out there, and I'll see you in the next video.
Thanks for stopping by. Hope you had a time, Phil G. Phil G.